Welcome to All Things Battlefield Earth, and we are yet again reviewing another portion of Battlefield Earth, the movie, versus the book. And here we are. We pick up where Turl has to go to Zeet and basically turn over the requisitions from Numph, who, of course, Turl is behind, but Numph is now just a puppet. And Turl controls everything, so Turl's being very careful here not to tip off Zeet that something's going on. And same in the book. Turl spent night after night trying to figure out what pay swindle Numph had going on, and once he finally figured it out, he was able to take control of everything, which means continue the project with the man animals. And if anything had gone wrong, then Numph would be to blame, not Turl. So in this scene, Zeet says, it sounds like the old man's completely off his rocker. So, and of course, Turl says, orders are orders. So far, Turl's plan is working very well. So now he begins to train Johnny how to fly a Cyclo battle plane. Now, he'd been using the Chinko machine in order to learn Cyclo and learn mathematics and learn everything. And then Johnny in the books began to learn the basic push-pull of levers. He learned how to run a tractor and things like that. There was no simulator, but in the movie, of course, it's a beautiful simulator of the Cyclo battle plane. And so these are images of this Cyclo city that he has to learn to fly through. And of course, Turl he crashes once, and Turl tells him, "Look, you crash again, then your little friend will no longer be among the living." So Johnny quickly learns how to fly this thing, and understanding that he's got to do what Turl wants him to do. In the book, Johnny, very similar to what happens in the movie, Johnny's able to travel around unknown, because Johnny's smart enough to have duplicates of himself. So Turl believes that he's always working at the mine sites, when in fact he's out figuring out how to turn the tide and turn things on the Cyclos so that they can find a way to win, take back the planet. And here's where Turl is warning him that if he doesn't get it right this time, game over. This is actually there was only, to my knowledge, one actual Cyclo battle plane that was built on a full-scale model, and they used it during the course of the filming, and by the time toward the end, there was just pieces of it left because they'd used it so many times, moved it, like taking the front piece off of it to use it for this simulator for Johnny and Turl to sit in. But Johnny has mastered flying a battle plane, and in the book becomes one of the best flyers, and is renowned once he by all men, he's renowned as one of the best flyers. So here we see them coming up over Denver, the Rocky Mountains. And Johnny is, of course, flying with Turl, but as they get closer to the area, which is close to the village that Johnny grew up in, there begin to be little sparks, and that's telling Turl that his breath gas is going to explode if they don't stop. So he tells Johnny to put the plane down immediately, and Turl can go no further. And this is very similar to the book, as at one point a Cyclo's canopy is blown off and he's killed by a little speck of dust, uranium, that gets near the guy's breath gas, because breath gas can't handle the effects of radiation. It explodes. And that's something they find out that accidentally worked in the humans' favor on the day the Earth was attacked. But there you can see the little sparks right behind John Travolta And there should be another one coming up here in a moment. But he's like, land it, land it. And there it is right behind him. So they land, and he says, look, you've got so many days to deliver the gold. And he says, I will be watching. And the drone goes overhead in the nick of time, takes a picture of them on the ground, and sends it to Turl, where he can immediately see what's going on. So he's telling Johnny, and this is very true in the book, there was always a picto camera running. They were always being watched by a drone somewhere, so Johnny couldn't get away. But knowing that Turl didn't hold man animals in high regard, he knew that by having duplicates of himself, he would be seen from a distance of a few hundred feet from to the ground, and know that Turl couldn't tell the difference. He learns that Turl can't read English, so he's able to really fool Turl while he's out planning his revolt. And here's the aforementioned scene. Here comes the drone passing by and taking the photograph. Again, just like the book. On a side note, I want to point out that a gentleman by the name of William Patrick Murray, he worked on Starlog magazine, and I got to interview him. And he told me about how the actual Cyclo battle plane was designed, and it was mostly out of concrete, believe it or not. So can you imagine hauling this huge, heavy thing around, having to reassemble it every time a Cyclo battle plane had to land somewhere? Now this, of course, is a motion control miniature right here, so pretty awesome that they're able to build such incredible machines. Thank you.